Hello, my name is Annabelle McAdams. I'm a freshman. I'm a part of the high school swimming and diving team in Steel City Aquatics, and one thing I love about high school is all the freedom we are given.
Hi, my name is Zadi Basarov. I'm a freshman at Fayette Township School District, and some extracurricular activities that I'm involved in include Shout, Model United Nations, and Fayette Student Government. The reason why I love the high school is because there's a variety of courses and extracurricular activities that you can be involved in that can suit your interests.
Hey, my name is Rashika Panda. I'm in 10th grade. I run track and I do gymnastics. I'm also involved in student government, STEM, FBLA, Circle of Friends, and Health and Careers Club. My favorite thing about high school is definitely getting to meet new people, and the cookies in the cafeteria are amazing.
Hey guys, my name is Yusuf Saeed. I am a sophomore here at the South Fayette High School, and I do two extracurricular activities, football and wrestling.
Hi, my name is Gianna Guzik. I am in 10th grade. I am involved with the South Fayette Interact Club as well as lacrosse. One thing I love about high school is being able to play on the lacrosse team and just having more freedom.
Hi, I'm Aiden Albert and I'm a junior in high school. Over my years at the school, I have participated in Link Crew, the hockey team, and underwater robotics.
Hi, my name is Leslie Guerrero. I'm in 11th grade and I'm a Parkway West student. Some things I do during school is Skills USA and student government for Parkway West. When outside of school, I'm usually at my job at Blaze Pizza. Just something I love about high school is just the new journey you're on and the fact that you have so many new experiences and so many new friends you get to make.
My name is Sophie Adams. I am a junior. I am involved in speech and debate, and my favorite thing about high school is the number of class options.
What's up guys, I'm Mitch Howard. I'm a senior at South Fayette High School. I'm involved in a couple of activities. I'm in student government. I'm the 2021 class president. I'm in the student advocacy committee. I'm actually the chair of that committee. I'm in Link Crew, Student Institute, and a bunch of other things like Spanish Club and the media team. One thing I absolutely loved about high school was the teachers. They are truly there to help you, and they will be with you every step of the way.
Hi, my name's Dia Mons, and I'm a junior here at South Fayette High School. I'm a member of the track and field team. I'm a part of NHS. I'm a member of Student Gov. I'm a mini-thon chair for my grade. I participate in various video competitions for our media team, and I'm also a member of the SAD Club. And my favorite part about South Fayette is definitely mini-thon.
Hey, I'm Joelle Farah. I'm a senior in high school. I'm involved in Link Crew, FBLA, Model UN, and I also played volleyball all 4 years of my high school. And one thing I absolutely adore about high school is the freedom that comes with it.
Hi everyone, I am Mrs. Martin and I'm one of the counselors at the high school. And we are here today with several current high schoolers because we're going to talk about scheduling. And typically the counselors come in person and would talk with the current 8th grade students about their high school classes and about the choices that they have. Last year, for the first time, the counselors brought with them students from the high school to actually talk in person to the students about how they decided on the classes they chose for their freshman year, the different options, for example, taking an honors course over an academic course, which we call regular course, just a whole lot of different considerations. We aren't going down in person this year, so we are filming it so that every student can see it, all the current 8th grade students. And we're just going to be talking about scheduling today. So I have 11 students who are going to be joining me at different, shifts, like 2 or 3 at a time, to answer different questions. And we have a total of 15 questions. I'm just giving you the heads up so you know what you're in for. We've got about 15 questions that cover topics about transitioning to high school and academics and scheduling. And then we have 2 to 4 students that are going to weigh in on each question. So I think that's it on my end. With that being said, I am going to start with the first question, and I actually want to get Aiden and Annabelle and Dia, if they could come join me up on our set, that would be great. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in to talk today. And we're gonna go with our first question. What I really want you to tell the 8th graders is when it was time to schedule your classes for high school, which is coming up, everybody, really soon. how did you decide what classes to take? Like, how did you decide on an honors class or just a regular class or an elective that you requested? And what did you take into consideration?
Well, when I started scheduling, I wasn't sure what types of classes I wanted to take. I knew that there was the honors classes and the academic classes. I wanted to take all honors, but I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it because I was playing hockey at the time. So I decided that for my first year, I would take 2 honors courses in the math and science department because that's what I like and what I like to do. And so I went from there, and I wanted to see maybe next year if I'd be able to handle hockey and 2 honors courses by kind of paying attention to what everyone else is doing.
Just like what you were saying, I swim and takes up a lot of my time, so I chose to take 2 honors and 2 regular, and I also chose a math and science honors and a regular civics and English.
I went the same route as both of them. I took honors bio and then honors geometry.
Wow, all 3 are honors math and science. So I do not have any of the honors civics and English up here, but they are all looking to say that they took 2 and 2. So go ahead.
But like both of them said, like I was involved in sports and stuff, so I quickly realized that it took up a lot of my time. And then I also quickly realized that math was just not for me, so I did not do as well as I wanted to in honors geometry. One, because I just didn't have the time, and like I said, like I'm just not a math person, but I learned, and I didn't take another honors math course, but I did continue taking honors science courses like throughout the rest of high school.
So which math was it that you took as a freshman? Were you algebra, geometry?
I was geometry, yeah.
Okay, so you got into honors geometry. And how did you notice that it was a little bit more, was it more difficult?
It was just more like fast paced, and like I said, I was just always better at sciences and like English, and it was just too fast paced for me. Like I just need more like explanation kind of, and a lot of it was like they already not assumed, but like knew that you would get the concepts like quicker, and like I just wasn't, which is fine obviously, but I just realized like the next years that I just couldn't do that again.
So with the future choices, because you're a junior, did it go better for you taking the regular math in the
Yeah, because then I always took the honor sciences with the regular math, and I did so much better, yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for weighing in on that first question. That was very helpful. We're gonna move on to the second question, 8th graders, and I'm gonna have Aiden stay in the hot seat up here with me, and then Annabelle and Dia are gonna head back to the rest of the audience, and I'm gonna invite Joelle and Gianna to come on up, and we're gonna move on to question 2. So thank you for joining us. The second question that we want to talk about is, how happy were you with the schedule you took freshman year? So the courses you ended up taking, how did that all work out for you?
All right, well, I can actually start with this one. My freshman year, I decided to take all honors and a couple electives with that. And I actually didn't think it went too bad for the all honors. I didn't really have to study in middle school, so I thought I would be able to handle it. And I was actually pretty right with that. The one thing is, though, my electives. I did not get my first choice electives. I don't know if it's the same way with you guys, but I didn't get my first choice, so I was kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky where I did end up getting my first choice, so that was really nice. I got child psychology, which is, I know, a very difficult class kind of to get into as a freshman.
It's very popular. Yes, it's a popular class because you have to take that to be a big helper in the preschool, which a lot of students want to do.
I mainly took that class because I was interested in a psychology career. So that was nice, like intro-wise. I feel like picking like your electives that like you're interested in going to a career or just like it seems interesting to you is really important. So just having that and knowing like that background knowledge, it was very helpful for me.
Yes, and I will say as the counselor with the electives here, electives are a big deal. I understand, we do understand that, and I think it's because so much of the freshman and sophomore year schedule is very determined for you. And the elective is one thing you get a choice with, so I do know a lot of students really want to have their first choices, and we do understand that. But the way the schedule works, we do schedule incoming seniors schedule first. So we schedule all the seniors, then all the juniors, then all the sophomores, then all the freshmen. So of course, we only offer so many sections of an elective, and so once it's filled, then it's closed, so we can't always get it. So one thing we do is we try to start with your first choice, second choice. If you end up getting an elective that you absolutely have no interest in, you can reach out to your counselor, and what we can do is give you the other options that are available that period. We can't rearrange, and you know this, I mean, I'm sure your counselors will do this too, like we can't rearrange when you have English and civics so we can fit in Photoshop. That's just not what it doesn't work. So for you, what was the elective you ended up getting?
Yeah, actually I got poetic imagination, which wasn't anywhere on my list, but it actually worked out really well because that class did have a lot of downtime. It was so chill. There were only a couple, like I think there were 7 people in that class.
Oh,
so,
very nice.
Yeah, it was a very small class. It was very weird
Probably because it's not the most popular class.
Yeah, probably.
But I think what you're saying is it turned out.
Yeah, it actually turned out really well. It ended up being one of my favorite classes I've really ever taken at the high school.
Okay, good. How about you, Aiden?
Well, I had kind of mixed feelings on the classes I took freshman year because I was debating whether to take all honors or just 2. Like I mentioned in the previous question, I decided that I was going to take 4 the next year because I was able to see that 2 was I was able to fit in more with the 2 freshman year, and I'm glad that I only took 2 to be able to see that for the consecutive years. But yeah, I was glad that I was able to do that. Speaking on electives, I really had no idea what I wanted to do for my electives. I saw the list and I was like, it was pretty scary at first.
Because there's a lot that's listed.
Right, but
there's a lot of choices.
But if you are interested in like a career or something, or you think you may be, I thought I'd be interested in engineering a freshman year, and so I took CAD 2D and 3D, which I got because those are pretty niche-based courses, and I really enjoyed them, and I've taken courses like that ever since. So I think that it's really important, and if you want to be an engineer or thinking about engineering, then maybe take CAD 2D and 3D.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, all of you have said that. Like, so electives, they can be great ways to experience intros to possible career aspirations. And a lot of times you may take a class and decide, oh, this isn't for me, or oh, well, or it may turn you on to something. You may go into the poetic imagination thinking that wasn't for you, but you could end up wanting to be a writer. So I think just having an open mind and getting the most out of everything, and like you said, the counselors will work with you to try to get you the electives that you desire, and also that can help you explore some of these your strengths and career ideas that you may have. So you can always talk to the counselor. I just cannot guarantee that we're all getting the first choice, but I will say, and you know, as you go on into sophomore, junior, senior year, you usually get your electives. So if you don't get it the freshman year, it usually works out. All right, well, thanks so much. We're gonna move on to our third question now, and Joelle, you're gonna stay up here. Aiden, you can go have a seat, and Gianna, and then Yusuf's gonna join us, and Rashika. All right, so our third question, let me get to my questions that we have. So the third question I have for you is, how are high school classes different than the middle school classes? I'm just wanting you to weigh in maybe on, and you don't have to all 3 talk about all items, but just if you want to comment on something like the way the teachers, the teaching style, grading, how things are graded, the homework, the amount of reading, those types of things. So.
Okay, so for me, middle school studying was not really a problem for me. I did gymnastics, which takes a lot of time out of my schedule, and I never really had a problem with that in middle school. And I did end up taking all 4 honors freshman year, but it was a big transition to learning how to actually study and take notes, and the teachers they're there for you, and you should ask them if you need help for sure, but it's also more about you're more reliant on yourself in learning and getting the help you need. So I think adjusting was a little difficult, but in the end, you kind of adjust and just make use of your time.
Yeah, I'd say that's a big thing, is just asking your teachers for help, and it's really your responsibility. There is a lot more responsibility than kind of what you're used to in middle school. Like, I remember teachers in middle school, they'd kind of remind you about assignments and stuff. In high school, you have to do your homework on your own. And another thing is like the tests and quizzes. I know those, going into high school, you have 47-minute periods, I think.
Yeah, typically 50-ish.
Yeah, 50-ish minutes.
I think it's 50, but maybe with the altered bell schedule right now because of COVID, it might be a little bit less. I don't know.
Yeah, So a big thing about that for me was the quizzes and tests. In middle school, you have 80 minutes to take a test, and you can take extra time if you need to, but in high school, it's like you finish during that period, and that's really it. It's
No
not
extra
something
time. Like, would you say most of the honors classes you're done when the bell rings?
Yeah, definitely. And since there is no extra time, a lot of the quizzes and tests are shorter than what you're used to, so it's actually, it doesn't end up being that bad, but a lot of it is you have to take that responsibility yourself and say, like, I'm gonna study for this test, I'm gonna finish this, and I'm gonna really take this on me to do it well.
So like what I would say is that the teachers are very nice. They're always helpful, but you have to seek for their help. You can't just wait for them to come to you, just like in the middle school. Going off of what Joelle said about taking tests in a specific amount of time. In a middle school, I remember like I wouldn't finish and I'd say, can I come up at activity period? And I'd basically have a whole entire block to do the test.
Did you have to adjust your study habits?
I had to, at middle school, I didn't study at all and I had straight A's. But in freshman year, I took 2 honors, honors geometry and honors biology. And those are my strong points. And I started to realize I was like lower A's, high B's. So then once I like started to go into the high B's, I learned that I had to like start to work harder, make more time in between my sports, and to just stay more motivated with like me trying to be better and not slacking off.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do appreciate the honesty. So, thank you. It seems like one person usually stays up here with me, so this time it's Rashika. So thanks, Joelle and Yusuf. We'll see you again in a few questions later. We're gonna move on to the next question. I'm trying to move this on so we're not having a 2-hour video. So Dia's gonna join us and Mitch. All right, thank you. So the 4th question out of 15, so we'll go through this, is how are the academic expectations of the high school student different than the middle school student? I know this is something we kind of just touched on because we were talking about classes in middle school versus high school, but just the expectations that teachers have for you.
I guess I'll take this one first. Something that I definitely noticed a difference, and I know that we've touched on this in the other questions, is the study time. Because something that our middle school teachers did was like, when the teachers worked together, they kind of said like, oh, well, I'm having a test on this day, so like, don't have a test on this day. Like there's no really communication between teachers on like test days because obviously everyone has their own classes and everyone's different. So something that really came to surprises me and something I had to adjust to was having like 3 tests on one day in all these different subjects. So I had to adjust to the study time, and that was definitely something that was way different from middle school, for me at least. And I'm sure that's hard on everybody, like having
multiple tests.
Yeah.
Okay, did you experience that, Rashika, at all?
Yeah, for sure. So with the overlapping tests and stuff, you will see yourself with lower grades, which it's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world, which is something that I had to learn, and I had to learn to not be so hard on myself. Because in the end, I was happy with my grades freshman year, sophomore year. So I think it's like okay to learn from getting a bad grade and learning to get better study habits from them.
And I do think, before I let Mitch talk, a lot of times we hear from freshmen when they first come up here after it's been a few weeks and the first test comes out, I do get phone calls about how my child's never had anything less than an A, and now we're at a C, and I think, to your point, it's a process. So yes, your first test, it may not be an A, but you can learn from that and change how you approach studying, and most of the time by doing that, you do see results. So, Mitch, how about you?
Yeah, going off of what Dia said, I really think that a lot of the collaboration between teachers that occurs in the middle school doesn't really happen in the high school, and so that kind of goes for homework as well. You might find yourself with 2 or 3 hours of homework based on what classes you take, and so it really comes down to you, the student, to kind of time manage and prioritize and really get everything done on your own, because the teachers don't really hunt you down if your homework is done. It's just a 0. And so a lot of that becomes your own responsibility as a student to really complete all of your assignments and do what you can to keep those grades up if those tests are starting to knock your grade down.
All right, well, thanks so much. Everyone's going down this time, and we're bringing up Yusuf, and Annabelle's over here, and Sophie is going to join me for our next question. Hello. All right. So the next question we want to talk about, and I know we're talking to the 8th graders here, but we're just not in person. So I want you to comment on the difference that you find between an honors level class and just the regular, we call it academic level. So for example, you can choose to take civics or honor civics. Okay, so I'm gonna weigh in on, what are the real differences you see?
I could start here. So freshman year, I did 2 honors. I did honors geometry and honors bio.
Okay.
And then in sophomore year, I did all honors. And the biggest difference I saw was that it's the pace of how the teachers move. So for example, in honors, in normal English,
okay,
I had a 97 in that class. And I was like always on top of everything, didn't have to stress at all about that class. And like I only wrote 2 essays that whole year. But then in honors English in sophomore year, I started to realize that I had to do a little more work. I had to actually read the book or the chapter 2 to 3 times because I didn't understand the language as well. And then I also had to just study the terminologies and work on my writing because it's kind of a little tricky, but you have to just switch to it. So it's a little faster than normal.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. How about you, Sophie?
Yeah, I also switched from a regular English from freshman year into an honors English sophomore, and now I'm taking CHS.
Oh, okay, so you're doing the honor, which is an honors, and it's also college and high school, so you're getting PIT credit for that class.
Yeah, so I guess one of the main things I've also noticed is it is very fast-paced, and you do have to write a lot more. So I would say make sure when you want to take like an honors class, you want to take it.
Yeah.
Like you have to want it, or else you're going to fall behind and you're just gonna hate yourself for taking it.
And it's gonna be a long year probably.
Yeah.
How about you, Annabelle?
Yeah, so like in English, I know that I don't remember the last time I had like any homework. We've been on the same unit for like months now.
Is this English?
Regular.
Regular English 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
But some of my friends who take honors English, they seem to be doing something like different every single week.
Okay, so it's gonna move faster.
Yeah.
I think, probably have to study more, you write more expectations on the student. And those are things, we can expect, but I know that it's often, you hear this from adults in your life, the teachers, your counselors, your parents, but hearing it from the students who are living it, it's important to understand. And I do think what Sophie said is when you're gonna choose an honors, make sure it is something you're good at, one of your strengths, and also something you are interested in to make it a little bit of a more enjoyable experience. All right, thank you. So the next question is actually gonna just kind of go off of this question. I'm gonna have Mitch join us, and Yusuf is gonna exit, and Mitch is gonna come on over. So, hi again, Mitch.
Hello.
So yeah, basically, we just talked about honors and academic level classes and how they're different. So this question specifically is, how do you know, I'm gonna ask Mitch to first talk, how do you know if an honors course is right for you? Whether you're doing regular or honors?
Definitely you have to take into consideration the free time that you have. So if you know that you're taking multiple honors courses and playing a sport, it might not be the best idea to add on that additional workload of an honors course. So I definitely think time management plays a big part in that.
Thank you. How about you, Annabelle? How are you able to manage, you said you swim,
yeah,
and you're doing 2 honors this year.
Yeah, so the way I manage is I try to get some of my work done when I have free time in other classes.
Okay.
And I'll stay up late some nights, and I'll study for it, and like right after school, right after I get home from practice.
Using a lot, it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So honors is definitely, it's a commitment.
It is, yeah.
What would you say, Sophie?
I would say if you take an honors class, expect an hour of homework every night from that one class.
Okay, so for you, pretty much, you're a good student. It takes you for every honors class at least an hour, probably.
Yeah.
And that might not even be just like assigned work. It might be like reviewing and prepping for a test that's coming up. And so even though the teacher might not say you don't have actual physical homework, but a test is in 3 days, so you got to start reviewing things. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much. So we've been talking a lot about academic and regular courses at the high school. We're gonna transition now and talk about Parkway. And Mitch, Annabelle, and Sophie are not Parkway students, so I'm gonna ask them to go have a seat in the audience, and we're gonna bring in Leslie, who's one of our Parkway students, and then Audie is gonna join us as well. Audie is a freshman, but I'm gonna have him listen while we hear about Parkway. Hi, Leslie. Hello. And this is Audie, and this is Leslie, so I know you don't know each other. But what I wanted to talk to the 8th graders about is when they come to high school, Parkway is an option. And Parkway students attend Parkway West, and they go there in the morning, and then they have their classes at South Bay in the afternoon. So most students, if they choose to go to Parkway, can start the freshman year. However, I have Audie joining us too, just to represent the freshmen, because it is an option. Even if you don't go to Parkway your freshman year, you can always decide to go as a sophomore or a junior or even a senior. So Leslie's gonna tell us a little bit about Parkway. First I wanna know, like, how did you hear about Parkway?
I went on the 7th grade field trip, and then I went again on the 8th grade field trip that they have an option to take.
Okay.
Thought it was very interesting. You get to learn a lot about each program, and it's a little fun trip you get to take outside of school too. So
Yes, get out of school for a little bit. Is Parkway pretty close to the school?
yeah, it's like a 15-minute drive. It's not that long. It's pretty close by.
Now, do you remember going on the trip to Parkway?
I do, and it was actually a pretty interesting experience. We got to see tons of courses that you can take, and it was a really interesting experience.
Good, okay. So then you thought it was for you, like the first time you went, and then you went back again in 8th grade. So which program are you in at Parkway?
I'm in sports medicine, or easier, it's just physical therapy and exercise science. So that's the class I decided to take.
Now, have you been in that one the whole time? You didn't change programs?
Yeah, I haven't changed programs. They recommend me not to.
Right, because you want to get certifications, correct? So are you on track? Like, you're going to be a senior next year. Will you finish with some certifications?
Yeah, I have multiple certifications right now, especially with CPR. I have my certification in that. I have some certifications in just some massage therapy techniques, like with rollers. And then they're actually going to be paying for me to take my athletic training certification if I want to go into that. You get to learn about PT assistants and just a lot of things. Each course has different certifications. I know a lot of public safety gets their EMT certifications, so I find it very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about it is you can, when you graduate high school, you have certifications already, and you have a lot of experience. So some students, go on to a technical school or college or go straight into the workforce. You're already a junior. What are you thinking you might do?
Well, I have two options. I have been getting, because Parkway also works with colleges, I have some credits already at Cal U. They gave me 6 credits already. There's a lot of scholarship opportunities that Parkway also gives you, but I've also been looking at military options too, but trying to get into the PT programs in like Pitt or Ohio State.
So you're thinking, your plan at least is maybe military, or I'm hearing college? Yeah. And I like to hear that, because I think a lot of students who choose Parkway think that if you go to Parkway, you don't go to college, and I don't think that's true at all. There's some that don't, but you definitely can go to college if that's what you want to go into. So have you liked having the time, like the morning at Parkway, afternoon here? Like, do you like that?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's very different from a regular high school schedule, especially since they have 10 periods. I have 5 periods, especially since the fact that Parkway takes up 5 periods of South Fayette. So you also want to keep that in mind when you do choose Parkway, just because even though it sounds like the easier option, it is accounting for 5 classes. So if you are doing it just for fun, but you're failing essentially 5 classes in South Fayette.
Right.
So you want to be careful with that.
Because you get your program, 3 credits, and then they take an academic at Parkway as well each year, which is a credit. But typically with the South Fayette student, they come back, they usually have lunch period 6, and then there's 3 classes. She's saying there are 10 periods. We do have 10 periods, but there's 7 academic classes in a day. So Parkway students take 3 classes each year at South Fayette, and then they take the rest of their courses at Parkway. One of the things about Parkway, it is mainly your electives. So by choosing to go to Parkway, you're not going to take the electives that we offer here, because that's where you're doing your electives is at Parkway, and you're taking your core class requirements at South Fayette. Okay, do you have any questions? Just listening and Anything about Parkway you want to ask?
What are some advantages and disadvantages?
Oh, good. That was going to be next. Good job.
Some advantages is really getting those a head start in a lot of the programs. You get a big head start. I'm lucky enough where I have a head start in a lot of PT. So some things that freshmen in colleges won't know, I know a lot already with anatomy and a lot of special tests. And if you take it very serious, it can help you in the long run. I can say some disadvantages. Your high school experience will be totally different from a lot of your friends if they decide to go to regular high school and not Parkway. It's still great overall, but if you want to take electives, you won't really get time to do that till senior year when your schedule starts opening up more. Like I can't take any languages or child psychology I can't take.
Right. That's a good point because you are limited in terms of the classes you can take here. I do think a nice thing for Parkway students is you do get to be in classes that you really are interested in more, or what you're focused on maybe as a possible career idea. You get those classes.
And I think it's great because they just I heard last year that now freshmen are allowed to take more honors classes. I know when I first started Parkway in freshman year, I was only allowed to take one honors class, especially because history and English were put together.
Yeah.
But now they have this new option for Parkway students where they can still take honors English without taking honors civics. Yeah.
They take, as a freshman, you take civics at Parkway. So if you're a Parkway student, you take civics there, but you could do honors English.
Yeah, and I think that's great that they added that on too. Because as a Parkway student, I'm also an honor student at Parkway and an honor student here. So it's great that now we have more options to take the honor classes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. The other thing I was going to mention before we finish with Parkway is I think what could be nice is you get to meet people from other schools because it's not just South Fayette. So if you kind of get stuck in the South Fayette thing and you want to meet different people, what other schools are going there with you?
We have about 12 different schools that go to Parkway. Some of the main ones are Keystone Oaks, we have Quaker Valley, we have CV that comes with us, Montour.
I think St. Clair on your rotation.
St. Clair is on our rotation. So there's a lot of schools, a lot of people, new people to meet.
So are some of the friends you've made through your program there from other schools?
Yeah, some of my closest friends. I have one of my best friends goes to Quaker Valley, and it's crazy. You'll just get to meet new people.
So overall, I guess to finish up, are you glad that you chose Parkway?
Oh, yes, 100%. I think it made, especially since I work, it can make my schedule so much easier for me. You're not very overwhelmed with a lot of classes all at once, so I felt like that was a better route for me. So I wasn't focusing on a lot of things at once, and I get to do something I love, so it was the best option.
Good. Okay. Well, so just so you know, as a representative of our freshmen, a lot of times if you don't decide to do it in your freshman year, we do have students that ask if they can go to Parkway in their sophomore year, and that's absolutely true. So if you're on the fence, 8th graders, and you're not really sure, you can do one of two things. You can try Parkway, and if it's not for you, you can come back to South Fayette full-time. Or if you try South Fayette first full-time, you can always go to Parkway as a sophomore. Well, thanks so much for joining us and talking to us about Parkway, because I think it's a great option for a lot of students. So we're going to transition again to a summer homework topic. Nope, I was wrong. We're going to talk about where you can get help in the high school. So Audie's going to stay. Leslie, you can leave. And then Rashika, Aiden, and I think Gianna's here to join us and talk about getting help in the high school. All right, so one of the things that I think help students transition to the high school and even throughout high school is knowing where you can get help academically. So our focus has been academic help. So if you could just kind of weigh in on what do you do when you need help with a subject? If it's something you're not doing well in, or it's a topic that you're struggling with, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I know personally, I just usually go to the teachers first. I mean, they're like the biggest help I get. I mean, they're always there for me if I need like extra assistance or something, or like just more questions. I always like reach out to them first because I know like they're like kind of the person to go to. And then other than that, I would just go to like my friends that might have taken that class, or like just other students that have like background in that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Over my years of high school, freshman year, I wish I would have known that going to teachers it's a little scary, it's a little intimidating, and you don't want the teachers to be like, think you're less than of a student, but that's what they're there to do. They actually really like when they come when you go to them and ask questions, it makes them realize that you want to know the information. And I also know that the school can provide like a student tutor. I help out with that. I tutor a freshman, and I really appreciate it. It's a really good program that I've been able to do, so I would definitely recommend it to ask about it.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll weigh in a little bit. I'll let the two of you comment, and then I'll make a few comments as well.
Yeah, so going off of what they were saying about getting to the teachers, whenever you get to do that, not only do you get the help you need, but you also form connections with teachers and other students that are struggling with you. And I've gotten close to so many teachers and made so many new friends that way. So really don't worry about like being embarrassed by it, because everybody will do it, and it's just better for you because you just get better and you form new relationships. It's just good all around.
Definitely, and especially because, well, you don't want to hold off your question. You really need to ask. So even if you're uncomfortable, you can also always email the teacher if you're not having the way to communicate. And there's also, you can stay after school. Some teachers have ways of communication where you can stay after school and ask them questions, more of like a study hall, a study session. And that's really beneficial for students that really need help in a specific subject.
Aiden made a really good point through the counseling office. We do have student tutors. So a lot of times students will come to me, or parents, and their child's struggling with a class. We can connect you with student tutors who are doing very well in a class. Usually it might be like an AP class or an honors class, and they can help the student as well. So those are things that we want you to be aware of, and I think Aiden also said this, he wished he had done this as a freshman, like reached out sooner and realized that's how you can get ahead. And so some of our students who are doing really well are the ones who are staying and are seeking the help. So thank you. Well, the next topic is we're going to move to summer homework, which is a new thing for the high school, I think. I don't think there's summer work in the middle school, is there? No, I don't think so. So we're going to talk about summer work. So to join us, Aiden's going to head off, and Gianna, and then Yusuf and Joelle and Sophie is going to come also. We're going to combine these two questions. They both have to do with summer work, so I'm just going to combine questions 10 and 11. So basically for summer work, if you take an honors course, any honors course you choose, there is summer work associated with that course. And you do get the summer work right at the end of the school year. So I would like some of you to comment on, how does the summer work, how much time really goes into the summer work? Did you have any like little surprises by how you did your summer work as a freshman and it didn't go so well? And then like how does it affect your first quarter grade? Like is it worth a test grade, or what typically happens? So.
Yeah, I can actually start with this one. I remember going into my freshman year, since I did take all honors classes are the ones that do have summer work. So I did get summer work for all 4 of my classes. Each summer work sheet that you get comes with a recommended time that you will spend on the summer work. So I don't know if you guys remember that, but I'd say that's a pretty accurate estimate. Sometimes it takes a little less, sometimes a little longer, but around then. It seems like a lot at first, but if you spend a little bit every day, it doesn't get to be that much. In regards to your grades, it is like a big chunk of your grade for quarter 1. You don't want to blow it off. You do want to give in like some good effort for that summer work. But with that being said, I'd say you don't want to spend just an extensive amount of time on that. You want to enjoy your summer, like that's whenever you don't have school or anything. So I'd say just kind of set aside a little bit of time each day, and slowly you'll start to kind of chip off on the summer work and you'll get it done.
Going off of time, you don't want to do your summer work the first week, right when school ends. You want to like put it to the middle and slightly to the end, because it's not just about the summer work you complete. Yeah, you get a lot of completion points, but the summer work reflects on what's going to be on the big tests you take like on Thursday or Friday, like 2 days right after you turn in your summer work. So you want to not do it too early so you don't forget the material, but if you do finish it early, you would want to study it, because I've made the mistake of completing the summer work and then the summer work test comes and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yep. No, I appreciate the honesty, and that's why we're here. How about you, Audie?
I've known numerous students who do all their summer work at like the very beginning of the summer break, and then they just forget everything. Okay. So what I usually suggest is just break it down. Like when I did my summer work, I'd spend like 30 minutes per class, every other day. So I still get to embrace the summer break, and I also get to embrace just keeping my mind fresh with all the topics. And it's especially important that you do your summer work not only for completion, but accuracy. Because some teachers grade it for completion, some do for accuracy. It just depends on what the subject is. But I really suggest that don't just rush it all off and say, oh, I'm done. You should just take your time, understand it, and like what Yusuf said, there's a very big test at the very beginning of the year. So I suggest break it down and try not to overwork yourself with the summer work.
So it sounds like it's not just a summer work assignment, but there's usually a test that first week of school. How about the two of you? Any tips you could give on like how you manage your summer? Because everyone is different. So he gave the idea of every other day. Joelle, I think, started a little bit each day. How did you do yours?
Well, for my family, my parents get on my act about summer work about a week after summer starts.
Oh, so you get like a week and then they start getting
Yeah, so I do all of my summer homework at the beginning of summer.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, and then I prefer to do that because it's less stress for me, just from my parents because they leave me alone.
Okay.
And then right before school starts, I'll just go back and review everything.
So you get stuff done, and then when it gets closer to school, you go back and start studying, preparing for the tests. Okay. How about you, Rashika?
So for me, I have a group of friends that take pretty similar classes to me. It's been like that since 6th grade, I would say, that we've all taken very similar classes. So we have the same summer work, and courses like math and science, it's not super creative. It's kind of, there's a right answer, there's a wrong answer. So we would go to Starbucks, obviously, before Corona. We would go to Starbucks and check our answers, kind of to make it more fun. So I would say, like, when managing your time, try to find those fun things in the summer, because it is your summer, so don't ruin your summer with summer work, but at the same time, get it done. It's worth it to get it done.
Yeah, and I think when we wait till, we do have students, these are very responsible students, because we do have students who wait till like the last week, and it just doesn't.
It's terrible. Don't do that.
Yeah, it usually results in a lot of stress, and then you don't probably do a really good job on it, and then you're off to like a bad start. So, all right, so thanks for sharing some good insight into the summer work. And next we're going to talk about foreign language, because this is another topic that 8th grade, when you come to the high school, you have a choice in taking what language. We have Spanish, French, and German, and it's level 1 or level 2. And the other thing you can decide to do is start over with a new language. So I think, who's staying? I think Yusuf staying, Audie staying, Rashika staying? Nope. Joelle? No. No, Sophie? Okay. Great, you're not staying. Okay, all right, these two are gonna stay, and then Annabelle is gonna join us, and where's Gianna? She's coming in. Okay. Joelle, you can take that for, okay. All right, so let's talk about foreign language. I know, from what I know, is in 6th grade you choose a language, and it's either French, Spanish, or German, and you stick with that language. You have to stay with that for 3 years. So when you get to the high school, and you're choosing your schedule, you can either take, if you've been in French, you can choose to do French 1, or you can go to French 2, or same with Spanish or German, or if you've done French for 3 years and you just don't like it, you could move to Spanish or to German. So tell us, what did you choose if you chose level 1 or level 2, in which language, and how that worked out for you? And also, just how's foreign language different in high school?
I can go first. So I sticked with Spanish. I'm now in Spanish too, and to be honest, it's a little bit more fast-paced. It's somewhat like an honors course, but it's not like too rigorous.
Okay.
But after all, it's another step. And most people say that if you have the teacher recommendation and if you have the certain grade, you're good to go. How I think of it is if you're understanding the course as well. Like, some people just understand the concept, but they're not fully grasping it. And that's something really key for your foreign language. So if you understand the course and if you have that, feel free to go to your next level. But if you're still struggling and still not understanding the core concepts like conjugating or the vocabulary behind it,
then you're gonna struggle
definitely.
in level 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Yusuf.
for me, I started freshman year. I did German 2. I had a pretty good idea of like what we were doing. I knew all of like the words and everything. But for me, what really impacted me was the teaching style. A lot of the middle school teachers, they teach differently than the high school teachers. That's because they have bonus points and other helpful tools, unlike the high school teachers. So what I did then in sophomore year, I did not do very well in German because of the teaching style. So I went straight to Spanish 1, and I really loved Spanish 1. I'm doing very well in it. And I also like the teaching style because it kind of lets you know what to expect next year. While like when I was doing German 2, I just went from one teaching style to the other. So for my recommendation, I would say if you were doing German or any other language, to do 1 first, just so you get used to the teacher. Now, it's not like it's not like because you're less gifted to level 1, but like just for like the experience and like getting to know your teacher more, I would do level 1 first.
So you think if you had done German 1, you might have been able to then go to German 2, then maybe 3 and 4, just because it would have been get a better foundation.
Because from like freshman year, everything's new. Sophomore year, you start to click and you start to like get a hold and used to everything that happens. So if you like the first year, you get used to the teacher, but then like after the other years, you'll do pretty good.
All right, so thanks again for talking to us about foreign language. And now we are gonna move into our last topic, really, of the panel. So everyone's gonna exit, and we're gonna bring in Mitch and Dia. So thank you very much. All right, so we have Mitch and Dia, which we have some more wisdom because these are upperclassmen. So Mitch is a senior, Dia's a junior. And basically, I just want, now that you've been in the high school, Mitch is on his 4th year or 3rd year, can you just talk to the 8th graders about what are some qualities or habits or characteristics that make you successful in high school?
I think definitely the most important one is time management skills. Like we all have so much going on, whether it's like extracurriculars or you're in so many honors classes or musical, like whatever it may be,
or
sports.
Work.
Yeah, sports, work, everything. So I think the most important thing about high school is developing a schedule that works for you because the workload can pile on and become very overwhelming very quickly. So that's something you have to pick up like quickly, and then you have to keep adjusting it as you go on, but I think that's definitely the most important skill.
Okay, so do you use a planner or organizer? How do you organize all that?
Yeah, I like to like write things down, so I have like a physical like paper planner, and I write like all my homework, and then I have to like highlight it and check it off. Like yeah.
Some people, I'm like that as well. Now, tell people though, I think a lot of people are nervous if they have an agenda. They're kind of considered to be a little bit, nerdy or something, but how do you feel about your agenda? You love it, right?
I love my agenda. I've never thought anything bad about my agenda.
Yeah, you love it, right?
Yes.
I love mine. I save mine from year to year.
I love like picking them out. Like I love it.
So see, I wish more students did use the organizational tool because it does help. And to be honest, as you go into college and life, you're gonna need it. Definitely. How about you, Mitch?
Definitely would agree with time management. For me, I would say it's definitely a bit of self-awareness and independence. High school is really that kind of opportunity to discover who you are as a person. I know that middle school, it's all about social skills, and high school is the same way. You're going to be with a lot of people that have different walks of life, different experience. They're older than you, maybe younger than you. I think that it's really important to figure out, kind of who you are and what you enjoy. Because especially whenever it comes to classes, for one, if you don't enjoy music, you don't have to take music. And, that goes a long way whenever it comes to extracurriculars as well. If you don't enjoy playing sports, don't play sports. And, there's sometimes like some stigma or stereotypes behind certain groups that do, different clubs or activities. And honestly, that's something you have to kind of rise above. It really comes down to who you are and what you enjoy. So as you kind of take that journey through high school and figure out what kind of person you're gonna be, don't really concern yourself too much with the opinions of others whenever you go about that.
Yeah, Mitch is definitely right about that. And then one other thing I would like to add is for me at least, I always find it important to like develop a relationship with your teachers so that whenever you do have questions or whenever you aren't understanding something, like you feel comfortable enough to go up and talk to them. Because like we've mentioned in all the previous questions, like it is like they're not gonna hound you for your homework. They're not gonna make sure that you're understanding the concepts, like like individually like that.
Right.
So it is good to just develop a relationship with your teachers.
Yeah, I think I want to add, teachers are human too, and I think sometimes we forget that, right? That they are going to help you if you ask. That they will, and I know we have some of the best teachers up here, and they really do. So I think that's important, and I agree with what Mitch was saying too. Like it's very important to be you and to do to start doing the things that really make you happy. And there's just you're only gonna be in high school for a few years and it's gonna go quick, and surround yourself with the people that, raise you up and do the things that you enjoy. And you do have to manage your time though, because our high schoolers, there's a lot, they have a lot on their plates. All right, so we're ending our panel discussion here. We're towards the very end. And I'm gonna invite Gianna to come up so that for our last question, we can have a senior Mitch, junior Dia, and a sophomore Gianna weigh in on this one. So the very last question we have for you, knowing what you now know, all the wisdom, Mitch is about to leave us, but now that you've knowing what you know, is there anything you wish you had known as a freshman going into your freshman year, or anything you would do differently? Because this is your opportunity to directly advise our incoming freshmen as they're starting their journey.
Well, yeah, I can take this one to start off. I mean, incoming freshmen, now 8th graders, I would advise you to really, really practice time management, because, as I, kind of discovered a lot of the clubs and activities and sports in high school, I really had to try and divide my day into whether that be practice or a club meeting or just doing homework and studying. And so I know for a fact that trying to time manage is something that I wish I hadn't waited till junior year to learn. So if you can practice it in high school and, really have it down by freshman year, it'll really benefit you all as, sophomores, juniors, or seniors.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, it would just be realizing that I had to study, because I went pretty much all through middle school without needing to study that much. And then when I got to high school, it was definitely way different. I mean, the courses are different. You're taking so many different classes. So something as simple as
It could be evil.
something as simple as even reading my notes, that I took. Why would I take them if I wasn't gonna read them? So when I went throughout high school, I definitely studied more, and I developed study habits that I wish I would have learned, but at least I have them now.
So studying is something, the thing we do here, you have to study more in high school. And studying, as she said, it is just reviewing your notes, because you're taking the notes and sometimes you're not always processing it all. Right. And then if students don't look at it again until the day before a test, there's a lot that you gotta figure out. So even just regularly reviewing, taking 5 minutes, reviewing what you learned that day. So thanks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like what Mitch said with prioritizing time. Even if, for me, because I play lacrosse and I, enjoy spending time with my family, of just prioritizing that in the way of just, wanting to maybe play more lacrosse, maybe doing my homework earlier in the day, or just trying to, organize it to be what I want what my schedule to look like.
All right, well, just to summarize everything, 8th graders, I hope that you listened to what all of these students had to say, and all of my high schoolers who are here, they took their time on this asynchronous. This is an asynchronous Wednesday, so they've been up here since 11. It's almost 2 o'clock, so I really do appreciate the time that they took to take out of their busy schedules to share with you insight and information about how you can be more successful in high school. And it starts by creating a schedule that's meaningful and it's realistic for you. So we're excited for you, and the counselors, myself and Mr. Hausman, are here to help.